Hi there. Day 3 in Argo, week 20, brings us really to focus a review more on quadrilaterals and triangles today. Let's start with number 1. It says there's a shape that's a quadrilateral, 4 examples right there, with exactly one pair of parallel lines. Exactly. So, remember, rhombuses, squares, they're all special parallelograms. A parallelogram is a shape that has one pair, two pair of parallel sides. You need to find a shape that has only one pair of parallel sides. So look carefully. Number 3 and 4, we're going to use these drawings to answer the questions for that. Which of the shapes is a parallelogram? Well, I think you can use this as a reference to successfully answer that question. Number 4, which two shapes appear to have only pairs of parallel lines and are equilateral? So what is that asking? That means the entire shape has pairs of parallel lines and are equilateral. So let's take a look at a rhombus. A rhombus has, there's a pair, there's a pair of parallel sides. So all of two pair of parallel sides, this side and this side are parallel, that side and that side, and it says equilateral. All the sides are equal. Okay, that's what this is describing. So you're trying to find shapes here, 2 of them that have sides that are all equal and its opposite sides are parallel. Look carefully. Number 2. Ooh, I just noticed something. When you fill out your Google form, be really careful because notice I went from 1 down to 3, skipping number 2. So here we go from 1 to 2. So when you fill out your Google form, be careful. Number 2. There is a shape that is a quadrilateral with 2 pair of parallel lines. Which shape is not being described? So we're looking for a shape here that does not have 2 pair of parallel sides or is maybe not a quadrilateral. So keyword not. Be careful when you read those. Moving on to number 5. So this is kind of interesting. We go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be careful with those Google forms. Vince had a shape that had exactly 1 pair of parallel lines and 4 sides. What was Vince's shape? It almost looks very similar to this question. Quadrilateral, 1 pair of parallel lines. 4 sides, 1 pair of parallel sides. Be careful. Number 6. What is the value of 14 and 3/5 plus 13 and 4/8? Remember when we did this earlier in the year, I had said to you that you should stack your mixed numbers when you're adding them and subtracting them, much like you do in an addition algorithm. Just makes your work a little easier. So, I'm going to remind you that when we're adding and subtracting fractions, you don't add your denominators, but you need to find common denominators, and preferably the lowest common denominator possible. So if I think about common denominators that 5 and 8 share, I would try 20, but 8 is not a multiple of 20 or a factor of 20. So I think the factor that we would have to use would be 40. Now, how do you make a 5 of 40? So 5 times 8 is 40. So I have to multiply my numerator times 8 so that these fractions stay equivalent. 5 times 8, 40. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 40ths. Down here, I'd be multiplying 4/8 times 5/5. Remember, that's actually like multiplying 4/8 times 1, the equivalent of 1. 8 times 5 is 40. 4 times 5 is 20. Now I'm ready to add, because I have a common denominator. 24 plus 20 is 44. That's an improper fraction. So before we do any other adding, let's make that into a mixed number. 44 40ths. Well, 40 40ths makes one whole. That would leave 4 40ths left. And I'm going to ask us right now to simplify that. 4 40ths. I can divide each by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 40 divided by 4. How many times does 40 go into 4? 10 times. So we have 44 40ths equals 1 and 4 40ths, which is equal to 1 and 1/10. I'm going to remember that I have to add this mixed number to this whole number here. 27. But I'm going to add those two together to get my final answer. And you can do that last step on your own. Okay. See you back tomorrow.